everyone! In this video we are going to analyze the conspiracy iceberg on GTA game series. For those people who don't know what the heck that is, I'll explain. The point is that in different social media we can find topics connected with so-called iceberg. The metaphor for an iceberg helps to illustrate complex systems in a very simple representation. Usually, on top of its picture, people write a list of interesting subjects. It can be myths, legends, puzzles, etc. It's widely spread, especially among gamers. At the top of the iceberg we can observe the easiest and, in most cases, the most obvious topics. But if we are going to the bottom of the iceberg, more profound and complex themes are denoted there. Nowadays, iceberg models have become popular among YouTubers. They are briefly describing every single point of the iceberg they are interested in. So, recently I have found the GTA iceberg posted by one of the users. He refers to the Reddit post where you can find that iceberg. I think that is the biggest one I have ever seen. It is divided into 7 layers so that it will be difficult for me to analyze the whole iceberg in one video. Therefore, I will split it into several parts. So, let's get started.
On the cliffs of Mount Gordo in GTA 5 we can find a Jolene Cranley-Evans spirit. Her ghost appears floating on the cliffs at night between 11 PM and midnight. Only while Jolene is visible, the word Jock is written in blood on the rock she floats above. That points to John Jock Cranley. He is an actor and the main conservative candidate in the upcoming gubernatorial election in the state of San Andreas. On a website related to the death of another girl, Beverly Johnson, we can find an article about the horrible incident on the cliffs of Mount Gordo. In brief, Cranley aspired to be a professional stuntman in Los Santos, but his wife Jolene objected to them moving to Los Santos as she wanted to stay in Blaine Country. So one day, when the couple went hiking up Mount Gordo, Cranley threw his wife over the side of the cliff, killing her. The police arrested Jock on suspicion of murder, but he was released without charge after the police investigation concluded that Jolene's death was accidental. After all, the Jolene ghost began to appear in Mount Gordo, and the inscription below continues to point out Jock Cranley's guilt.
The September 11th attacks actually influenced in a certain way the game, which launched just weeks after the terrorist atrocities, and where a plot revolves around in the city that looks like New York. Nevertheless, while changes were made, they were mostly cosmetic. Only one mission, which involved terrorists, was removed and were changed car details, a couple of pet comments and lines of radio dialogue. So, in general, GTA 3 has only 1% changes in the overall content.
Epsilon. It's a well-known cult in GTA world. The first mentioning was found within GTA San Andreas, due to the cult's website, the in-game radio, and the pedestrian voice lines. That caused the creation of conspiracy theories that claimed that the cult runs both the government and the entertainment industry. The Epsilon program was founded by Chris Formage. He promises real happiness and other things in exchange for a sufficient deposit. Tithing is a vital part of Epsilonism, being the cult's main source of income. The Epsilon program plays a much more prominent role in GTA 5. Protagonist Michael DeSanta can join and make a few side missions. And what would happen after? You can discover by yourself.
In GTA Vice City there is an apartment room that isn't marked on the map and located south of a pay and spray in Ocean Beach. The player can find there a large open suitcase containing 2 bags of cocaine. Inside the bathroom of the apartment, the bathtub is splattered with blood. There is also a chainsaw pickup next to it. Apartment 3C is a reference to the scene in the movie Scarface when the main character with his colleague walks into the Colombian trap in a hotel apartment with the same interior. Accomplice is then brutally dismembered and killed by the chainsaw in the bathroom, as referenced by the apartment's bathroom, which contains the chainsaw as well as a bloodied bathroom wall.
Darkel is the character that was removed during the development of GTA 3. You can look at him on the official side of the game, of course if you find access to it. Darkel was going to be a rebellious character that would give the player rampage-like missions, that would usually involve killing a large number of people. Rockstar did not reveal why Darkel was removed from the game for several years. It was theorized he was removed due to the September 11th attacks, which happened a month before the release of the game. In various interviews, Rockstar claimed that Darkel was removed because his character and his missions did not fit very well with the rest of the game, and they denied that he was removed due to 9/11.
It's by far the most famous myth in GTA San Andreas, which Rockstar Games confirmed to be fake. That's why we're going to talk about GTA 5, the next game taking place in San Andreas, where Bigfoot was introduced for this reason. For instance, in the mission Predator, using a rifle with a thermal scope, you can see Bigfoot standing still. If a player completes the game, Franklin will meet a hunter trying to hunt a Bigfoot. Also, if you got access to the special golden peyote plants, you will be granted the ability to play as a Bigfoot.
Mothman. It is an unlikely myth in GTA San Andreas. The myth is based on real-life sightings of Mothman. According to the real-life legend, Mothman is a large creature with insect-like wings, red eyes, and a furry owl-like body. Legend says that Mothman sights are usually followed up by tragedies with many deaths. The myth in the game is very similar to the myth in real life. At the western end of the Sherman Dam, close to the parking lot, there are two large winged statues that some players believe are statues of Mothman. However, the theory is false, because the Hoover Dam, which the Sherman Dam is based on, has the same winged statues and memorial site. The players have continued to search Mothman in GTA 5, but there are no known references to Mothman in the game.
Inside the cable car station, at the summit of the mountain, there is a large map painted on the wall that appears to be a map of Mount Chiliad. Scattered across the map are various odd symbols, seemingly pointing out the location of secret objects on Mount Chiliad. That is an Easter egg in GTA 5 that refers to a series of mysterious markings scattered around Mount Chiliad that can give clues as to when the character can find the UFO. Also, it is worth noting that the mysterious drawing on the top of the mountain is a sly allusion to the GTA Online update. In 2017, players had the opportunity to encounter an alien egg after completing 600 supply runs. In the same year, in the Doomsday Heist, it became possible to infiltrate secret rooms inside Mount Chiliad and meet a jetpack there. Furthermore, in 2020, a new business battle was added, in which you should infiltrate a military base and take UFO parts from the hangar. In any case, the mysterious images of UFO, an egg and a jetpack have become quite understandable over time.
GTA 3 intro location. At the beginning of the story of GTA 3, there is a cutscene where we can see a part of the city that takes place in a non-functional location, originally confused as being within Liberty City itself. That is the bank that was robbed by the main character along with his partner. There is no such area within the accessible limits of Liberty City. However, we can find it in a game. The set is situated far west from Shoreside Vale, and is only accessible by way of the Dodo.
The name Leatherface is taken from the antagonist of the horror movie series The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He wears masks made out of human skin and engages in acts of cannibalism and murder by using a chainsaw. Some players assumed that such a character could be found in GTA San Andreas, and they searched for him mainly in the countryside. So, in fact, it is another unconfirmed gaming myth.
Altruist cult. It is a community completely isolated from the rest of civilization, settled on the Mount Chiliad. The cult is comprised entirely of elderly men. They have weapons and sometimes can be seen walking around half naked or fully naked. The camp itself is made up of many wooden shacks, abandoned houses, and a watermill. It is surrounded by large walls. Certain characters involved in random events can be kidnapped by Trevor and delivered to the camp for lunch. However, not to feed that certain character, but to eat him and rejuvenate themselves, as they think so. The main character will receive money for this delivery. Altruists also have a distaste for technology, even though some members use cars, and the entire group maintains a website, where it is said in Morse code that they are against clothing, against the younger generation, and are ready to eat human flesh. In general, they are dangerous and wild people.
The UFO theme became widespread in GTA San Andreas. The main thing that coincides with the UFO is the bar named Lil Probin, where you can find photographs, which hung on its walls that similarly depict flying saucers, and a map of San Andreas with several markers suggesting that the player should go looking for those places. However, that gives nothing. Despite the GTA San Andreas, in GTA 5 we can meet UFOs. For example, we can find it underwater, on Mount Chiliad, or in some other places. But it is difficult to determine the true origin of the flying discs, since some UFOs betray their terrestrial origin.
Beverly Johnson. In the gaming community there were some assumptions about CJ's mother. As she was shot during the attack by the Bellas gang on Johnson's house, people thought that her ghost could be found in a game. However, no evidence of this was found. It is worth noting that some players mistook Beverly's ghost as an ordinary passerby, for whom developers used the same character model as for Johnson's mother.
The Creeper. A terrible creature that the players tried to find in San Andreas, then in GTA 5. But there are no clues on this topic.
Gant Bridge Easter egg. It is a secret inscription located at the southern peak of the Gant Bridge in San Andreas. It's funny that this Easter egg says, "There are no Easter eggs up here, go away." It is believed that it's a reference to the egg that the player could have found in a previous part of GTA, I mean GTA Vice City, but we will talk about it a bit later.
As the developers said, GTA Vice City was not originally conceived as a separate, independent part of the game series. That was certain content that was supposed to be released as an addition to GTA 3. But there was so much new material, and GTA 3 was so successful that Rockstar decided to drop the idea with DLC, so they created a separate part of GTA, which became Vice City.
6 stars cut from GTA 5. GTA 5 differs from the previous parts in that the developers slightly deviated in GTA 5 from their, let's say, rules. So, instead of the traditional 6 stars of Wanted level, where the game's equivalent of a SWAT team comes after you, they made only 5 levels.